Well, the economy is booming, but big-time Democrats say they're open to backing progressive Senator Elizabeth Warren, who says the president's economic strategy is all wrong. As for the midterms, the New York Times running headlines like this: "Yes, I'm a socialist. Why candidates are embracing the label in 2018. Are Democrats making a big mistake running against what some call the Trump economic bump?" Let's talk about it with our panel: Democratic strategist Dave Brown and former special assistant to President Trump, Mark Lauder. Welcome, gentlemen. Great to have you both.
Thanks for having us.
All right, so let's go over a little bit of what we heard this morning in the jobs report. 223,000 jobs added. 3.8% now is where unemployment falls. It's the lowest since 1969. There was once that tied this in April of 2000. And for African American, their unemployment is down to 5.9%, the lowest in history. Dave, what did Democrats do with that?
Well, this is the economy that Barack Obama built. We're in our 9th year of economic growth and expansion.
You know Mark's not going to let you get
I know
away
he's
with
not.
that.
I know he's not going to let me, but I'm going to finish this point
Okay.
because this is quite literally the economy that President Obama built. This is his legacy. But what's really interesting about this is that, notwithstanding the fact that these job numbers are fantastic, Republican poll numbers are still in the mud. Democrats are leading on the generic ballot. If you look at
that's really tightened up, though. You know, over the last 8 months.
But if you've looked at
by double digits.
If you looked at the special election since Trump took office, Democrats have outperformed on an average of 9 points across those special elections. If that is our performance in the midterms, we retake the House and we retake the Senate.
Mark,
if you
what
look
do you
at
say?
the generic ballot, it was 13 points at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
It's now 3 points according to the Real Clear Politics average. The right direction of the country number is now 8 points higher than it was when President Obama left office, and it's very similar to the numbers in 2012. Republicans are sitting well, and this comes down to people have more jobs. They have more money in their pockets, and Democrats opposed the things that have jump-started this economy. If you look at the number of jobs being created this year, on average, we are outpacing job growth from 2016 and 2017. This is what the president called rocket fuel, putting it in the economy.
Well, listen, the New York Times. You read what they had to say today. They were using words like splendid and excellent. They said employers are creating more jobs, leading more people to work, and fewer people to be unemployed, and leading wages to rise. Dave, that's from the New York Times.
Look, I think the New York Times clearly had a good time with a thesaurus this morning.
They did.
They wrote that piece. Here, Mark made a point that I actually think is very important. He said people feel better when they have money in their pocket. And the reality is that voters aren't going to vote on the basis of what a jobs report says, which, I mean, it's just numbers. They're going to vote based on how they feel about their economic well-being. They're going to vote on based on how they feel for their family and their family's economic well-being. 40% of Americans today couldn't afford an emergency that cost them $400. They don't have that cash. If you look at the average median savings, retirement savings for working families in this country, it's $5,000. And so there's a lot of incredible economic insecurity. And if you look at even, take wage growth, we saw a slight bump in the numbers today. But
it's up nearly 3% over the past 12 months.
Sure, great, over the past 12 months. But workers have seen stagnant wages, all the while CEO pay astronomical, 300, 400% higher than workers.
But when you look at the increases now, you look at the more money being in their pockets because of tax cuts that Democrats opposed, the president and Republicans passed. When you look at the bonuses that are being handed out to millions of workers, and the fact that we have more jobs in our economy, which is going to put even more pressure on wages to go up.
Except,
as
Mark,
companies have to fight to keep the workers they have.
Mark, I would have said money in the pocket, and until the gas prices have jumped. I mean, the gas prices have already eaten the tax break that the poorest Americans receive, who, by the way, are being disproportionately affected by higher gas prices, poor Americans. Also the people who receive 1% of Americans received 84% of the benefit of the tax cut.
Let's talk about Tax Policy Center, which is nonpartisan. If anything, people think it leans to the left. It said 85% of Americans were getting a cut under the tax cut. 10% were just going to remain even, only 5%.
And Shannon, I'm going to quote also from Tax Policy Center when they say that the top 1% of American taxpayers are getting about 83%.
Well, you know how much,
you know what
the percentage of taxes they pay.
Sure, except if Donald Trump was sincere when he said this was going to be a tax cut for the middle class, why on earth didn't he give a tax cut, a real, meaningful tax cut to the middle class?
85% of America?
There are teachers who haven't seen raises.
Let's bring Mark in.
Let's remember, at the end of the day, I think the Democrats have cried wolf on the economy one too many times. Hillary Clinton said the economy was going to tank because of the election of Donald Trump, and Nancy Pelosi called it Armageddon, the tax cut plan. Americans see through it. They see that there's more money in their pockets. They see more jobs. jobs. They see more companies investing in their communities and adding more jobs. That's why you see the right direction number going up in this country. People are more confident, and they're going to show that when it comes down to an election in November, where it's, do you want to keep your tax cut? Or right now, the Democrats are offering a message of resistance and higher taxes.
You're talking about the crumbs, right?
Crumbs, Armageddon, yep.
All right. Dave and Mark, it's great to have you both here with us on a Friday night. Come back.
Definitely.
We will.
Definitely.
All right, very
Good
good.
time.